Inspired by Rivendell, this craft takes me to a place that I'd like to go to in just about any fantasy setting. And I'm going to take you there this week on Tabletop Witchcraft. Hey there and welcome back to Tabletop Witchcraft. A few weeks ago, I worked with Goblin Studios to help launch the new Kickstarter, Legend of Keepers. And in there, they had like over 100 STL files, this miniature being one of them. And when I saw it, I knew it was going to fit perfect in this craft that I had pictured and wanted to make for quite some time. The cool thing is you could replace that with something that looks evil or whatever and have this fit in just about any fantasy setting. Now, if you want to get into LED wiring, I'll put a link to my easy LED wiring video up above. And that's going to show you how to use the Conway board from Terraintronics. And you can manipulate up to 4 LEDs and adjust their brightness. It's very easy to do. And if you want to get into it again, perfect place to start. Also, questgivers.com. You can also get there through my website under the merchandise section. It's their new module, and it's a module that I worked on with them, my brother, DM Scotty, and Gareth from the DMG Info. It's called Mountain Mayhem. It's basically the Dirty Dozen, but in a fantasy setting. So check that out. The Terraintronics boards, you can actually get at a discount if you go to my affiliate page on my website. And if you want, while you're there, TWC10 at checkout at Firelight Fables Candle Company gets you a 10% discount on your entire order. Small kickback comes to me to help support the channel. All right, if you're ready, let's go grab some supplies and let's get crafting. All right, we're going to kick this video off with the Wolf's Keep candle from Firelight Fables Candle Company. You know I love my candles while I'm crafting. And to start the video, we're going to use some Hearst Arts molds. Put a link up above to a video where I go in depth on how to work with this stuff and these molds. And you can really get some great detail to your crafts using these. Now, like most of my videos, this video also has a set of plans that you can download. You'll find the link to itch.io in the description. And these are just going to help you out and make the craft a little bit easier. And what you're looking at here is the new circular cutter jig from Shifting Lands. This thing is incredible. There are so many features to this and so much that this can do, including cutting out pillars and domes and all kinds of stuff. So you definitely want to take a look at this. If you don't have a circular cutting jig yet, this is probably the one you want to pick up. Now, you've seen this trick in the past. The Proxxon is very limited with the height that you can get with cutting foam. Simply by adding a PVC pipe to the back of your high fence right there, you can gain another ½ inch or so and get your cutting height just over 6 inches. All you have to do is adjust the string location or the wire location so that you have a nice vertical cut. Alright, and here is the brick jig from Shifting Lands, and I'll tell you, this is such a time saver when you want to have that individual brick look in seconds. In a fraction of the time, you can have that, and it's really enjoyable to use. And you can see real easily how that just goes on. I did maybe, I don't know what that is, 20, 30 bricks in seconds. If you're enjoying this video and my channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button down below. Alright, so all we did was add a little bit of stone texture to everything, add some cracks, and we're going to use this miniature right here from the Legend of Keepers Kickstarter by Goblin Studio, and printing it off on the Anycubic Photon D2. It's the new DLP printer. Some really great quality, good detail, and it's a perfect miniature for this craft. Alright, now to glue all of your Hearst Arts together, all this plaster, we're just going to use some Eileen's Tacky Glue, and it works really well. And we're going to fill some joints here in just a minute with some green stuff. Now Now I want to add some torches and a few LEDs pointing down on the miniature to show like the light from the torches is reflecting off of the bronze statue. So these are just the components that we're using. Again, I had mentioned earlier in the video that I put a link up above to my easy LED wiring video. It will show you exactly how to wire this up, and it's so simple and easy. This Conway board from Terraintronics is going to allow you to control the brightness of up to 4 LEDs in one craft, and with a certain tool I'm going to show you here in a minute, you really don't even need to do that much soldering. And these little sconces right here you can find as well over on Terraintronics. His little Tindy site, I believe, with some of your LED orders, and he throws a few of these in with your shipment. Now, just to break up these straight lines, every other level of shingles we're going to fill with some green stuff, and once we have this painted up, you'll never see these lines. Alright, we got tons of great stuff from Shifting Lands in this video. This is their new pillar jig, and what an amazing jig. It allows you to cut multiple sides on a pillar. And one thing that I noticed when you're working with this, you want to use your thumbs to push up a little bit on the 2 wheels on each side, just to make sure that they're both at the same rotation angle, I guess you want to call it, when you're cutting, and it keeps your pillar cuts nice and straight. Alright, you're watching me screw up big time right here. I thought I had the hot wire knife level, and I didn't. And what happened was I went right through the the front of this thing. You know, initially, stuff like this can really get to you and frustrate you, but there are tools at our disposal to help fix these problems. This light patch and paint is one of your best friends, really, when you're crafting. You'll see here in just a minute. Once we paint this up, you're never going to notice that mess up. I would like to note that these little channels are going to be for the wires, so you can pull them in and out of the craft if something ever happens to the LEDs. I would make those a little bit bigger. I had a little bit of an issue pulling them through. I was able to do it, but with a little bit more room, they'd slide a little bit easier. You'll be very careful here not to hot glue too much where the wires are. Obviously, I had an issue with that too and hot glued some of the wires in place. Okay, now these 2 spots right here are going to be for some LEDs, one angling towards the front of the statue and one angling straight down. Just to add a little bit of a flicker to, again, the statue, like the torches that we're about to put on it are reflecting some light and it's bouncing off of the statue. Some Game Master primer paint for foam. This will not melt the foam. Some really great stuff from the Army Painter. And right here, basically we're going to do just a bunch of different wet blending with some different colors. Here's what I used, and yeah, just have fun kind of mashing the paint on this thing, and just put on however you like. And I'm just stippling on a little bit of some paint here from Games Workshop to, you know, represent like a patina on this bronze statue. This is one of those things that you don't want to wash over the whole model. It would really take away from the effect. Just put it where water would be puddling up on this thing over time. Okay, I go a lot more in depth on how to use this tool and what it is in my easy LED wiring video that I've already put a link to in this video. But it's going to allow you to do all your wiring without having to solder anything. And I'll have a link for this tool, all the LEDs, everything you see in the video in the description below, as well as on my website, www.tabletopwitchcraft.com. And this is the Conway board that I was referencing earlier. This is an absolute gem for wiring up any LEDs in your crafts. And you can see how that adds just a nice little reflection off that statue, like it's picking up some of the light from these torches. So the look that I'm going for, that I had envisioned with this, is a really nice fall setting. Something that you would have seen in Rivendell from The Lord of the Rings. So I didn't go with a super bright green grass. It was a little bit darker. We're going to add a bunch of pigment powder around this to look like dirt's been built up over time around it. And then in just a minute, I'm going to add a whole bunch of autumn dried leaves. This pigment fixer will lock it in on some small areas we've added pigment. I do add pigment in a large quantity to the roof, where I've mixed this black and green pastel, and to lock that in place I just sprayed it with some rubbing alcohol. Alright, now you can't have too many leaves for this part. It really adds a lot of dimension to this craft. It really reminds me of Rivendell from Lord of the Rings. And my Warworld Scenic spray top got clogged, so I had to use this bottle. Don't worry, that stuff dries completely clear and locks those leaves in awesome. And I had to have a little flock of white doves flying off the top of this. Just something I had always envisioned for this craft. So here it is. That's some 6-pound test fishing line. And of course a little bit of black pigment, because we have to have that for these torches. Alright, so in the video you saw me hot gluing the miniature to this base. I wanted a permanent. It's exactly what I wanted for this, but you can very easily make it modular by coring out a section on the bottom of that miniature, add a magnet to that and the base, and now you can swap that out for anything you want. Or just be careful, add nothing at all, and don't bump the table. If you head over to www.tabletopwitchcraft.com or questgivers.com, you can pick up the new module, Mountain Mayhem. Guaranteed to have a really fun experience and adventure around the table with your friends with that. If you want to win a set of plans, subscribe, hit that like button, and leave a comment, and I'll announce the winner next week on my Instagram, and I will email you a set of plans. Finally, consider heading over to Patreon to support me over there. It's support there that really helps fund the channel. And there's a lot of really great tiers. One is the contractor, where I'll email these plans to you on the day that they come out. Or the Coven tier or higher gets you access to my private Facebook page and to my live streams at Here at Night that I do. And we can actually hang out and craft together live as I'm making these videos. So check that out. Thanks for your time. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. And until next time, I'll see you around.